Hey everybody, we are going to read our Monday book. It's our next book, or the next book in the Global Read Aloud. It is Swashby by the Sea, written by Beth Ferry, and of course illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. Now this one is a little bit different than the other ones. Remember how we can always tell a Juana Martinez Neal book by the hair? We can tell here the hair is just a little bit different. But what I love about the illustrations is that it always seems to have been etched in with a pencil, which is just a really neat style of drawing. This book is also going to have a couple of the elements that we've been studying throughout the year. So this book reminds me a whole lot of school's first day of school. Remember how the school took on the qualities of a living thing. So the school got upset when the kids didn't want to be there, and it squirted the big kids with the water fountain. So we have an object, what we call an inanimate object, something that isn't really alive, that takes on the qualities of a living thing. That's personification. And so this book has the qualities of, has the element of personification in it. I'm really excited about that. Also, if I think back to just about 2 weeks ago, when we read Mother Bruce, and you know how Bruce was really grumpy in the beginning, and then in the middle he's kind of trying out how to take care of the goslings, and at the end they're a family. Well, this book is one of the best examples of having that beginning a character is one way, in the middle something happens to that character, and then at the end the character is totally different from the way the character was at the beginning of the book. So that's actually going to be the little activity that you do with this, beginning, middle, and end. How does a character change throughout the book? And I love this book. We also saw that in La Princesa and the Pea, when we think about the prince's mother, how she was really grumpy in the beginning, then something happens, she tests and she loses the test, and then at the end gentle, please, oh, that's your friend, it's his next door neighbor. And then at the end, the prince's mother is really happy because she has 20 children, one for each mattress in the story. So I'm really excited about this book. I took some great notes inside, and sometimes my notes were just a little hard. Captain Swashby loved the sea. The sea and he had been friends for a long, long time. She knew him in and out, up and down, better than anyone. So remember when I talked about personification, the sea is his friend. The sea knows him. So the sea is taking on these qualities of a living thing. So when Swashby retired, it was to a small house on a small beach as close to the sea as he could be. Whenever he needed something, the sea provided exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. Life was the way Swashby liked it. Salty and sandy and serene. Until... squeaks and squeals sprang from the empty house next door, which was no longer empty. It had been commandeered by a girl and her granny, who planted umbrellas, scattered beach chairs, and boarded Swashby's deck without permission. Swashby battened down the hatches, hid when the doorbell rang, and fed their oatmeal cookies to the gulls. He didn't need neighbors. He didn't want neighbors. Neighbors were nosy. Neighbors were nosy, a nuisance, annoying. So in return, he left a message written clearly in the sand. No trespassing. Which the sea fiddled with, just a little bit. So the sea is taking an active role in this story. No trespassing is what it said. And what does it say now? Sing. The girl read. And did just that. She sang every song she knew while dancing up and down Swashby's deck. How do you think he's going to feel about this? What now? She asked, because she thinks he wrote in the sand that she should sing. Now vanish, Swashby wrote later that evening, adding a starfish exclamation point. And the sea fiddled just a little. Now vanish, and there is the starfish exclamation point. I know some of my kiddos have been learning about an exclamation point. It means you really mean it. It's not now vanish. It's now vanish. I put a heart here because it's one of my favorite pages. Wish, the girl read, picking up the starfish, and did just that. She closed her eyes and began, I wish. No, no, Swashby interrupted, stomping down the steps. If ye mean to make a starfish wish, ye must say this. Starfish back to waves so blue, the sea will see a wish come true. How lovely, Granny said. We'd wish you'd come for a cup of tea, Mr. Swashby. So this used to say now vanish. N-O-W-V-A-N-I-S-H. But you take away some letters and it says wish. But Swashby wished to be left alone, so he grumbled and mumbled and hurried inside. He didn't need tea. He didn't want tea. Tea was civilized, friendly, neighborly. What he needed was a new message. Please go away, he wrote firmly in the sand. And once again, the sea fiddled just a little bit. I wonder what letters they could remove from please go away to make a new message. Play. Play, the girl sounded out, just like we do with some of our words when we sound it out. Play. 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 Play, the girl sounded out, and did just that, with Swashby shells and stones, with his buckets and shovels. But her towers kept falling. Barnacle bottoms, Swashby muttered, marching out. You're doing it all wrong. Ye must not use the sun-baked sand. It's the sea sand does the trick. And he showed her how to dig for the wet sand below. Wow, his best friend, the sea, is really interfering in this story, and I like it. But Swashby was gone. Before long, amazing sculptures decorated the beach. It's the clamshells ye should be using, Swashby called from inside. "Come play, Mr. Swashby," the girl called back. "Swashbys don't play," he answered, banging the shutters. So the sea decided to meddle more than just a little. She inched her way up the sand and tickled the girl's toes. She nibbled on the sculptures and slurped away the bucket. The girl tried to grab it, but "Look at me," the girl called. "Look at her," Granny gasped. "Oh dear, look at her." Granny hurried to the water's edge, but oh no. So Granny hurried to the water because the sea is pulling the little girl out to sea. Swashby was already there. Huh. This is one of those turning points in the book. Remember when we talked about a beginning, a middle, and an end? How Swashby was clearly very grumpy in the beginning. But something's changing, and something's changing on this page. "What are ye up to, ye salty imp?" he asked, scooping up the girl in the bucket. With a great big wave, the sea delivered the pair back to shore, and there was no stopping the laughing and thanking and hugging that was Swashby's reward. "I see what ye did," he whispered to the sea as he was whisked away to celebrate. So he finally realizes that his best friend, the sea, has been playing this game. And after that, it was easy for Swashby to have tea with the girl and her granny, and ice cream, and lobster, and s'mores on the beach. It was easy for him to share his special sea glass. It was even easy for him to see that neighbors could be fun, and friends, and family. I have another heart here in my notes. I love this page. And when he had a moment to himself, Swashby carved a heartfelt message for the sea. "Thank ye, friend." Which the sea fiddled with just a little bit. The end. Oh, what a great book! So we see how Swashby changes over the course of the story to be this grumpy guy who wants to be alone the whole time. And he avoids engaging with the girl and her granny. And the sea keeps, setting little things up so they are together, and he's exposed to the girl and her granny. And then all of a sudden, it's not working. He's not responding, so the sea takes a little bit too far. Pushes the little girl out to sea, and Swashby saves her. And then, well, now they're friends forever. So at the end, he thanks the sea because, as it said in the beginning, the sea always gave Swashby what he needed when he needed it. And I think right about the time of this story, Swashby needed a friend. And it took him the whole book to realize that that's what he needed. Oh, I love this book. So I hope you do too. Take care.